NASDAQ hit all-time highs. However, we're seeing a little bit of a resistance for S&P 500 at record highs right now. So there's a possibility there. There's still a bearish divergence that's going on for between S&P 500 and the high-yield bonds. We'll examine that. We'll look at Donald Trump media and technology, ticker symbol DJT, and we're going to look at it from a technical perspective to see what are the expectations of investors for the upcoming elections, and is this tracking, is the Dow Jones, Donald Trump media stock is tracking the popularity and the possibility of winning by Donald Trump at the elections. Dollar has entered a new uptrend, and so far gold is ignoring this dollar strength. And we'll finish up with crude oil, which is continuing to rise and most likely will continue to rise into the elections. All this and more in today's edition of MasterChartsTrading.com market recap for Friday, October 25th, 2024. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment if you like this video. If you are a subscriber, stay tuned. We'll be covering various securities in the members only section, large cap stocks, ETFs, as well as speculative and gold related securities. So stay tuned for that. So currently we're looking at the S&P 500, and these are all-time highs right there on the 17th of October. Today we sort of came close to all-time highs, but you can see that we kind of came up during the day. Sometime intraday we came up to close to records, but we sold off significantly throughout the day and then finished the session next to the lows. So this looks like a shooting star candlestick, and that's why I wrote here resistance at new highs. There's a possibility that we'll see a pullback, absolutely. I mean, we've been on a tear after the breakout to new records. Breakout to new records occurred right there between 18th and 19th of September, and we continue at higher. It's possible we'll continue higher, but a pullback is definitely cannot be ruled out at this point. So also today is October 25th. The election day is November 5th, so we're literally 10 days or so away from election. So most likely there will be fireworks in the upcoming days, and most likely volatility will be higher than normal. We're currently looking at the NASDAQ composite, ticker symbol IXIC, so NASDAQ Composite Index. You can, on this chart, notice that this is an all-time record. The previous record was right there on the 11th of July, and it was at 18671. Today we hit 18690, so we exceeded the previous record by a few percentage points. Great news, I think. Obviously, the more indices hit new records, the better it is. The bullish posture is intact. We want to be looking for buying opportunities. So latest buying opportunity, for example, was on 8th of August. You can see what happened. The price came down towards the blue support resistance line and then closed above it. And then we see a new record. So if you want to find out more about this lines on the chart, you can see there's a green, blue, red, and yellow line. Follow the link in the description, and it will take you to my site with explanations on how you can have them on your chart. But by and large, obviously good news that NASDAQ is hitting records. S&P 500 is slightly lagging, and there seems to be resistance, but for now, it doesn't look like a very bad resistance yet. Let's switch gears a little bit. We're currently looking at high yield bonds, J and K. So as I have pointed out in the past, high yield bonds correlate highly to S&P 500. Down below here you can see this yellow, it's called correlation coefficient, and this is showing how much does high yield bond do the same thing as the S&P 500, and by and large they're doing the same thing most of the time. You can see they're very highly positively correlated. So currently we're seeing what's called a bearish divergence, whereas S&P 500 on the 19th of August, so I'm going to show you, go back for S&P 500, there's the September, 18th and 19th of September. So notice that we're basically moving higher from this point on, while the high yield bonds are basically moving lower, more or less, since that point. So this is what's called a bearish divergence. How much does it matter? We're probably gonna soon find out. So either way, either the S&P 5 or either the high yield bonds will also make a new record, or S&P 500 and stocks in general might roll over and at least retest the previous, like the green line, for example, or even the blue line. So definitely a possibility of a pullback and a retest. But for now, the high yield bonds are showing a bearish divergence, but there's not much as far as acting on it, so we're just going to be watching it for now. And now we're currently looking at ticker symbol DJT, also known as Trump Media and Technology Group. So a lot has been said about this particular stock. There are many issues with this particular stock, just from a earnings perspective, from a management perspective, but we will look at it from purely perspective of a technical analysis. Like, where is the price going? Is the price dropping? Is the price rising? Is the price going to continue one way or the other? So up till recently, you can see that we have this downward facing arrows, meaning that this stock DJT was in a downtrend. For example, this very beautiful setup that occurred here in July, it went, so if we took this signal, I did not personally take the signal, nor did I send it to my subscribers, but let's say we took this short signal on the 18th of July, it went from $37 all the way down to $11. So the collapse was quite strong, 60% or even more, now on the 23rd, 24th of September, it bottomed out, and we're seeing a V-shaped reversal. So it just straight up went higher. So currently, we are at the resistance, at the red support resistance line. And again, normally a bearish security, such as this particular one, we want to be selling it short. So at this point, we're thinking about, okay, should we sell it short, or should we do nothing, or potentially even buy for opportunity to move higher? And it's honestly a very difficult call. I mean, we went from $11 back to $37, so that's, you know, a very big run again. That was about, technically speaking, 190% run from, you know, $11 till $38. The important thing is, where is it gonna go before the election? So the elections are very close. There's November 5th right there, and at this point we're just looking, okay, so we have, you know, a few trading days left, basically next week, and part of a week after, Monday after, for this security to really bounce higher towards this blue line, which is at around $53. If that happens, if this price closes above $59, $54 currently, so the blue support resistance line is at $54, there is a good chance that Donald Trump will be a president. Okay, barring that happening, I think we will see somebody else be a president. So in this case, Kamala Harris. Honestly, I don't really have a big preference either way for either of the candidates. I'm just looking at this security in a vacuum, and I'm looking at it from a point of view of technical analysis. So today's action is quite good for Donald Trump, obviously. Today it gained 11%. The important thing is, notice how it broke out above the red support resistance line. And so far, actually, we did not technically have a signal. So a signal occurs when we see at least a high above the red line and then a close below it. And it didn't yet occur. Notice that on the 23rd of October, there was not a touch of the red line, and today we burst through it. So we actually closed above the red line. But so far, we have not seen another close below this red support resistance line. So no trigger occurred. So notice what happened back here in July, in June, in late June, and again in July. We saw a high or a close above the red line, and then a close above it, close below it rather. So again, high above the red line, close below it, high above, close below. So all of those are valid signals. Right now we did not yet have a valid signal, and it's possible that we will not get a valid signal. We will just continue higher. So again, for this security to close in the bullish territory, in the territory of where we will say that Donald Trump will surely become a president, it's another 38% higher, or $14. So we're looking from $38 till 54 or so. And if we close above 54, I think Donald Trump will become a president of the United States. What do you guys think? Let me know, make a comment. This is an explosive topic, I know, but let's just keep it simple and civil from a point of view of technical perspective. I'm not really trying to irritate anybody as far as with my preferences for which president will be in the office, but I'm looking at it from a point of view of a technical analysis, and let's see if I'm correct or not. So at this point, I have no positions. If we see a close below below $37 or so within next few days or so, then it would make sense to sell it short, and most likely Donald Trump will not be a president. However, if we continue higher and at least get to the blue line around $54, most likely we will see Donald Trump presidency. Okay, briefly let's look at euro versus US dollar. So euro versus US dollar was up until recently in an uptrend. So uptrend started around July 12th of this year, and you can see it went pretty high. Then it rolled over around September, and now we're actually in a downtrend. So as I was just explaining about the other stock I was covering for Donald Trump media, notice what happened. We saw a close below the red line, and now a high above it right there where I'm hovering. See, there's a high above the red line and another close below it. So we now have another valid signal to sell this currency pair in favor of US dollar. So basically we want to be buying US dollar with euro. This implies that euro is dropping, dollar is rallying. Indeed, this is what's been happening. So there's the low for US dollar back in September, and big rally, just gigantic. This is a very for a currency, it's a significant rally. So let me just show it to you on the weekly chart. There's that rally. Okay. Now notice, interestingly enough, on the weekly chart, we have not yet closed above the blue support resistance line. Okay, on the daily chart we indeed have. There it is, 104.132. Let me see, there is a slightly different number here, 104.505. So the numbers are slightly different, but it's interesting that there's some slight difference. So weekly actually hasn't even broken out into a new uptrend, but the daily did indeed break out into a new uptrend. So right now we're seeing this unexpected strength for the dollar. At the same time, when I get to the Treasury bonds, you can see Treasury bonds have dropped, interest rates have rallied. So this implies a more tight policy by the central bank, Federal Reserve at this point. Now, normally dollar and gold do the opposite thing. However, lately dollar and gold has been doing their own thing, and here's gold. Gold really did not react to dollar strengthening in any meaningful way. So there was the September 27th, and it bottomed out on October 9th, and we can look at it September 27th, and notice the strong rally for dollar. It just continued until now, but gold really did not react negatively at all. In fact, it made all-time highs, and we're closing and we're trading next to record. So gold and dollar are currently in an uptrend, which is unusual but not impossible. So at this point, I'm treating dollar and gold sort of like separate entities, although normally dollar and gold move in opposite directions. So at this point, looks like we're seeing demand for both dollars and demand for gold for obvious reasons. Because of the current instability worldwide, gold would make sense to own for many people. Finally, let's look at oil. Here's crude oil, and this is a daily time frame. A few days ago, namely on the 16th of October, so about 10 days ago, I drew in this line for my subscribers, so this orange kind of squiggly line. I said that on the 16th of September we're going to drop a little bit, and then we're most likely going to be rallying into November elections and possibly a higher since. So far we've been pretty much following this route, and I think it makes sense because of the, again, escalating tensions in the Middle East. Although, we have Israel most likely was going to attack or retaliate to Iran earlier, before the November elections, but I think Americans are trying to hold Israel from doing so to further destabilize Middle East and by extension increase the oil prices. So to me it looks like if there's going to be a counterattack by Israel against Iran, it's going to happen after the elections. So we will need to see and watch and see what happens for the next few days. And with that, I'm basically done for the day. Head over to MasterChartsTrading.com. That's my website. Again, I sell two products. I sell the trading indicators, so this lines on the chart. You can pretty much trade anything you want. So here's, for example, Donald Trump media, and again, you can trade it. So for example, we would have been selling it short back in June. Right this instant, I'm waiting for more confirmation either way, so we're waiting. But the indicators you can see on the chart, this green, blue, red, and yellow line, they're available for tradingview.com. Sign up on my site and I'll open the door for you. Newsletters, I send out daily alerts and weekly members only videos. So for example, this week we'll be covering various securities such as ETFs, large cap stocks, speculative securities, as well as several of the gold and silver related ones that I personally own as well. And of course, the best deal is to get both trading indicators and newsletters, and you can get either the monthly or the yearly plans or the monthly plans, and yearly plans, this is the equivalent monthly price. Let me know if you have any questions. Other than that, again, thank you for watching and have another great trading week. Bye bye.